Hey, welcome to Comic Toy Reviews, and in this video, just some random photos going to be showing at Toy Fair. It's probably not going to match up with the audio here, but I just want to talk about the other toy lines and my thoughts on it pretty quickly here. I already made one review about the Marvel Legends and the Marvel Universe, and you could check that video out. But this is all the other stuff, and it was an impressive showing. The first company I want to talk about is DC Mattel, and DC Collectibles I think is where it's at in terms of collectors wanting that 6-inch, 7-inch type of scale of high quality figures, from the Batman in armor to Batman Origins and other figures that DC Collectibles has either recently made or making in the future. You know, that is the high quality stuff, and they're doing an impressive showing making those DC figures. But in terms of the Mattel side of the line, I'm not really feeling it. There is no DC movie this year, and so there's going to be no movie line, that whole market. And the 6-inch scale of DC Classics is coming back in a way. Some of those molds as repaints and stuff, and it's going to be like $30 or something. The prices went up. It doesn't really seem a big focus of theirs, so that's not really a main focus. But they are doing a really good Masters of the Universe focus on that classic line. So if you're into Masters of the Universe, I mean, they really have done a good job in terms of the focus for that brand, because there's not really so much appeal in terms of people who didn't watch He-Man previously. There's no cartoon on, there's no real books or promotion that, you know, that to sell merchandise. This is mostly a direct market right to the fans. And somehow, budget-wise, they're able to just keep making new figures, and that's good for them. So while their 6-inch DC stuff isn't so much, Masters of the Universe stuff's impressive. They are, of course, going to focus heavily on the wrestling stuff. And as for the 3 3/4-inch scale that they're using, Mattel, for me as a fan, the lack of articulation, the lack of sculpts, they still have to catch up to Marvel Universe, much less surpass it. I'm just not really feeling that 3-inch line. What about you as collectors? If you collected the 6-inch stuff, are you liking that 3-inch line so far? New company, I think it's called Capo Toys, C-A-P-O. They're making Street Fighter 2 figures, and I'm pretty impressed so far. The Guile figure, the face sculpt looks spot on, and like Sagat and Chun-Li and others, great face sculpts. The bodies are so-so in quality. The Sagat one didn't look good at all in terms of the main body, but I think it's going to be a line I'm going to collect. It's not like that Jazzwares crap in terms of Street Fighter. Another company to talk about is NECA. I'm actually not liking the choices that I'm seeing currently that they showed us at Toy Fair. The Predator, the new series, has 2 generic Predators that have no movie origin, and they just redid the Elder Predator from Predator 2. I already got the Elder Predator from the first time around. I don't need a slight upgrade. And I'm just not a fan of Predators that don't have a movie base, that they're just made up. I think that Predator line to me is kind of wearing thin. Unless they make the Alien vs. Predator figures, the Predators there, I really don't see much for me as a collector to get in terms of the Predator line. The Alien line, the next series will have the Dog Alien from Alien 3, which I didn't like. They're going to have a Bishop figure that kind of looks like Lance Hendrickson, but the costume looks very plain. I'm not sure if I'm going to get that one. They're going to have movie Planet of the Apes figures, and 1/4 scale, the 18-inch scale of Batman Origins, Dark Knight Joker, and some other figures. just not too many good choices that I personally like from NECA coming out this year. And then we could switch over a little bit to other Hasbro stuff. G.I. Joe, they're going to produce like a Toys R Us exclusive wave. I'm really not feeling the G.I. Joe stuff in the past year or so. The G.I. Joe Retaliation stuff, they never really got a lot of figures out in waves. I didn't see a very concentrated effort by Hasbro to get figures out. And even the toy line now, it doesn't seem too much a focus of their plans. I don't know why, but the G.I. Joe stuff has been sort of like put on the back burner, I feel, as a collector. So I'm not sure what's been going on in terms of the production end, but they really have been dropping the ball on that line in the past few months. But the Transformers line, that's probably why they're going to focus heavily, Hasbro. The Age of Extinction, we've seen Grimlock, Optimus Prime, Megatron. But the one that really, caught my interest is a 30th anniversary Jetfire leader class. That Jetfire kind of looks like a Valkyrie from the Macross Japanese anime. They improved the head to look like the Japanese anime until it looked like the original Jetfire from the G1 days. Because that Jetfire, I think for copyright reasons, that mold, it was really the Macross figure, and they brought it over to America, and they don't have the rights to it. But the new Jetfire kind of looks close to that, so that's why I'm interested in that one. The Transformers movie toys, I still think that the second movie, that Revenge of the Fallen, had some of the best Transformer toys, I think, overall. Like, you're not going to get a better Optimus Prime than that leader class version of Optimus from the second movie. The stuff on the new one, it doesn't look as good. Some of them caught my interest, but I'm not going to know really which Transformers I'm going to get, or how many, until I actually see more photos, see the scale-wise, and things like that. McFarlane is continuing his sports stuff, McFarlane Toys, but they are giving us a 10-inch Rick Grimes Walking Dead figure. Finally, an action figure that looks like actor Andrew Lincoln. He must have a tough face to capture because McFarlane's previous efforts have not really caught his likeness well at all. So getting that 10-inch Rick Grimes, you can probably put it next to the Daryl figure that also looked like that actor, and Norman Reedus. So I got those two figures, 10-inch scale. That's a pretty good line coming up. They're continuing with some of those figures and the comic stuff. I think that line is improving overall by McFarlane. And he realizes the money on that show, so he's going to keep moving that line out there. And the other thing to collect really is Star Wars. And besides the 3 3/4 inch scale, the big 6-inch scale figures that are going to sell out, kind of like Boba Fett, figure you can never find in the store. It's the return of the Jedi version of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. I didn't see Luke Skywalker with two hands, the one without the glove. They gave you a swap out chest piece with like the collar open, but they didn't give us a swap out hand so you could have like two skin hands showing, not the glove on. And so, just to have a glove hand when you didn't really have to, that's not cool. And I think they got cheap and didn't give us a cape with a hood. Because it would have been too much money, right, to give us a real cool cape with the hood. But I didn't see it on the Toy Fair pictures. But the Darth Vader does have a cloth cape. His inner cape is cloth. And a 2-piece removable helmet. And so that looks really good. I know that Darth Vader figure is just going to sell out instantly. That's going to be gone really quick. And the Luke, you might find it in store shelves. And they have a clone trooper from the second movie. Which is a surprise because the third movie, those clones are the ones that really, I thought are more popular. But probably they'll have that in the future. And so yeah, running out of time here, but that's a quick recap on the various lines I've been following or looking at Toy Fair. What lines are you following? What interests you? on the line, let me know. And let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching.